Hi everyone, and welcome to Building Blocks for Bouncing Back. My name is Kerry Rodley from Workshops in Wellbeing, and I'm proud to be a part of the Small Business Big Impact presentation today, sharing my experience and expertise with all the other small businesses from Port Stephens. So what I'm going to be talking about today are the building blocks for building resilience, not just for yourself, but for your teams and for your families as well. We're all in this together. And the more that we can be looking at different ways to aid our own mental well-being and for those of the people around us, the better we're going to be for moving forward in this new time. So I'd just like to start with a bit of a introduction into what the challenges are for small businesses. We're all in this together. And you know that when you're continuously thinking about your business all the time, all these awful things about, do we have to shut the doors? What does the future hold? What's going to happen with my employees? What sort of different ways can I look at doing our business? Do we have to go online? Do I have to look at partnering with other people? All these different thoughts going through our head all the time really does raise our stress levels. And of course, that affects not just us, but those around us at work and at home. And just trying to find that good work-life balance, which is that sort of epitome of what we all would like to do. But especially with this new challenge on our hand, it's like, well, what can we do to sort of make this path easier for all of us? So I like a bit of alliteration and focus on flexibility. I love that. It's all about how flexible can we be when it comes to thinking outside the box, thinking about things differently, like this slide says. And although, we always hear about, change is good for growth, that's what you need to be doing. Otherwise, we're just stagnant, we're content, things will just keep on going the way that they have been. It really is sometimes hard to focus on those sorts of ideas, reframing the way we think, looking for new opportunities to grow and new directions to take the business. So sometimes we can be quite complacent and things are going well and we're just sort of, going about the day-to-day, just enjoying life. Sometimes things like COVID are thrown into the mix to really just stir up the pot and get us to think outside the square and start thinking about each other rather than just sort of going by the day-to-day. But how do we become more like this guy? How do we adapt and thrive in this new normal? I think Webster's Dictionary is going to be able to write a whole new chapter on new buzzwords that's going to come out of COVID-19, because there's so many new phrases that we learn in that we use in everyday life now, and the new normal is one of them. But there's a term called a growth mindset, and a growth mindset is when you take situations that have been brought down, whether it's a divorce, a death in the family, something really harrowing, the loss of a business or the downturn of a business. How do we use these experiences and what we've learned from them to actually grow and develop new skills, rather than just being bogged down in and getting depressed and anxiety? So it's about growing your optimistic skills, having some hope, and again, building resilience for both yourself, your team, and your family. And so today, these building blocks for resilience or for bouncing back, I just like to go through a few of the ones that I think are really helpful and that we can easily adapt into our everyday life without too much trouble. So this first one is one I really love, and it's why I've started it off today. It's called Celebrate the Small Wins. So what it is, it's about, it doesn't matter what's happening in your team, either at home or in your workplace. It's about acknowledging these small things, because that's how the brain works. The brain loves to be acknowledged and thanked, and just having even if you can't meet in person and you're sort of meeting things by Zoom, just having a virtual clap on the back in front of your colleagues. It's a great way of bringing the team together. And apparently with, our perception of challenges, it does change when we are given some acknowledgement. And mountains do tend to become more like molehills when, those little steps, baby steps, and each time we're taking them, we're acknowledged and sharing with the rest of the team, it really does help to put things in perspective and to move forward. Now, communication and connection. So connection is what I call the big C. We know that isolation and loneliness are one of the key killers of human beings. It's not heart disease, it's not smoking. Humans are meant to be with other humans. We're meant to be connecting with each other. So that's why the whole self-isolation and being in quarantine during COVID was really hard on a lot of people's mental health. Just being able to connect with people, whether it be in person with like these two, having a nice cup of coffee, or just over the phone or via Zoom, it's a great way of, sharing your problems. A problem shared is a problem halved, as the saying goes. It's a great way of having a sounding board to share new ideas. You want to bounce things back off others just to hear what they think, and they will do the same for you. It gives people a new perspective on things. So you might be thinking, oh, woe is me, my situation's, it's becoming very depressing. And sometimes just talking to someone else about it and realize they might be going through the same thing, or they've got some other ideas to help you through that, really does help. It helps to lower our anxiety, depression. And actually, just like these people here are today, just having a bit of a laugh, it really is a boost for the immune system. So it's helping us in all sorts of ways in our health and mental health as well. Supporting other local businesses. So here we are. This is one of our local businesses here in the Bay with the sandboarding. Obviously, during a time such as school holidays and Christmas and whatnot, we have a lot of visitors here in Port Stephens, and our business does tend to boom. But in other times, especially now when we've had all the restriction things on, we do tend to find ourselves working on our own. So if we can get out there and help support the local economy and keep the community going, because we really do have to rely on each other a lot. Again, they're in the same situation as we are. Most of the businesses in Port Stephens are small businesses. So if you can support them, and hopefully they can return the favour as well, and we can keep our economy going strong. And you never know what you might learn from each other as well, which puts me onto the next slide of networking. Now, this is not just from a Port Stephens Women in Business point of view, but networking is such an important factor for humans in business, because again, it's that exchange of information on challenges. It's about sharing our goals, our experiences, gaining new insights into problems. It's how can we help others as well. Remember in Jerry Maguire, it's like, help me, help you. If we can all have that mindset of helping each other, then we will be a lot better off. So it's just about, and even socializing. It's not just about, sharing information that might help with business. It's just being together, that connection once again, that, that support of knowing that you're there for others and they are there for you as well. Contribute to the community. So again, Port Stephens is very big on everybody getting out there and helping each other. There are a lot of volunteer groups. Now, volunteering, it really does help to combat the effects of stress, anxiety and depression. It increases your self-confidence because you're out there doing good. You're doing, helping out with some other community or charity, and it really does help to build your sense of purpose as well. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, look at these folks here. They're obviously a well-oiled machine, and just making new friends and making new contacts, learning through them as well. This photo here is myself. I'm a volunteer with Port Stephens Koalas. So just through that group, I've met so many people with a very similar mindset to my own about helping the animals, but also it's about that community once again. It's not just we're there to help the particular charity or group that we're looking after. It's about being with each other and knowing that we're doing something good for the planet and for each other. Yes, but there's many, all you have to do is Google, there's many different groups out there that here in Port Stephens that we can do, even Port Stephens Women in Business or Tomaree Business Chamber. There's many opportunities even for volunteering in business type situations as well. maintaining healthy habits. Again, this is a bit of a no-brainer, but sometimes we forget these obvious things like our diet, just sort of concentrating a bit more on eating healthy, fresh foods that are in season, trying to cut down on the smoking and the alcohol, just really sort of, taking care of our bodies both inside and out. The exercise, getting at least 30 minutes of exercise a day. Now, it doesn't have to be, going to the gym and lifting weights. It can be like this gentleman here. He's just out there taking his dog for a walk as the sun rises on the beach. I know this is something that I do every morning, and it's fantastic for my mental well-being as well as for my physical well-being. It really does help with my stress levels. I know if I'm having a fairly difficult time, at the computer, or things aren't going right, if I can just take a break and go and take a bit of an exercise and a walk outside, it really does help. Sleep. I mean, sleep is a big one. Without sleep, pretty much everything else falls apart as well. It has been documented or researched that actually going to bed earlier and waking up earlier actually makes us more productive throughout the day and gives us more energy throughout the day. I mean, who'd have thought, right? Early to bed, early to rise. But it really does work. And especially those hours for early on in the morning, maybe before everyone else is up and at 'em, they're the times that you can really take the time to reflect and do something for yourself. The worst thing you can do is, grab your phone and start looking at the news and what's happening in the world and what's Trump tweeting about today, or, what's happening on social media. Take that time, those first, minutes of the day, or half an hour of the day, to work on you. And that goes on to my next topic of the digital detox. So this is a huge topic at the moment, because we all know that we all probably look at our phone too much. I know my iPhone pops up and says, oh, you've been looking at your phone 2 hours, 50 minutes every day this week. That's up 40%, or, and you feel that immediate sense of guilt. But apparently Australians on average spend 4 to 5 hours a day on our phones, and that's on social media apps, not just on our productivity like our email or on our meditation apps or anything like that. It's about social media. So we need to be able to cut that to a minimum. I know that our phones are made to be addictive. They have the colors and the lights and the sounds, and this actually feeds endorphins in our brain, and our brain loves it. It loves to be stimulated like that. And that's why it's addictive, because your brain goes, oh, I'll have some more of that, please. And then as soon as you sort of put your phone away, your brain is almost like, oh, can we just have another little look and get my little fix? So a good way of cutting back on that is actually making your phone black and white instead of color. It's about turning off all the notifications, so there's no alerts and dings and buzzes every time, someone likes your tweet, or you've got something new that must be important and must be checked right now. So turning off your alerts, turning off the color, turning off all sorts of sound, that really helps our brain to sort of, put a stop to that and put it out of our mind. It stops us from checking it all the time. Also, it's been shown that our vision is starting to deteriorate, because we're looking so closely at our screens rather than taking the time to look further away. So we really do need to take our eyes off the screen. And that computer, that's your computers, that's your TVs, that's your phones, any sort of screen. And again, getting more back out into nature, to look at the trees and look at the things that are further away. And speaking of that, I mean, the perfect way to sort of wean yourself off is, when you do go for your walk, is to leave your phone at home. It can be quite daunting. I know for me it can be quite daunting, because I actually like to use mine as a camera. So a way to get around that would be to, in fact, take a camera rather than the phone, and still take my pictures that way. But the longer you can leave your phone at home every day, the better off you are. So another idea is to actually go somewhere where there is no phone service. You're away from Wi-Fi, you're away from any service that, so you can't physically use your phone, because it's just going to be in fact, it will just be a camera. It will just be this device where it might be an ebook reader or something like that, because you aren't able to get to it. So that's my top tip of the day, is to find somewhere like Boat Harbour used to be, where your phone doesn't work, and off you go. Now, speaking of Boat Harbour and getting out into nature, this is another fabulous tip that I absolutely love. And here in Port Stephens, we are not short at all of any beautiful places that we can get out into nature. Obviously, this is here from up the chump of Mount Chumari. And if anyone hasn't gone up there lately, I recommend you do, because the views at the moment are just absolutely stunning. Again, go early in the morning before all the crowds. Having time out in nature it's like having a multivitamin. There are so many good things that we get from, vitamin D from the sun, the fresh air, the smells, the sights, the, just listening to the birds chirping or feeling the grass or the sand under your feet. It all helps build our immune system. It helps reduce inflammation, which is a big one for us as well. It helps with our sleep. And you don't have to do much at all. You could do like that other fellow did before and take your dog for a walk. You can go for a swim, just go and sit out in the bush in the park. It doesn't have to be much at all, but just take at least 5 minutes a day just to get out into nature, and your brain will thank you for it. Another one I love is decluttering and organising your space. So I'm a professional organiser as well, and I know firsthand how my clients really love that feeling of that stress relieving when the clutter is gone and they can't see it. Because clutter, it does distract you. It does cause stress. It causes less productivity because, trying to find things, or if you need something quickly and where did I put that piece of paper? When you go through the process of decluttering and just getting your paperwork organised or your office organised, it really does increase your productivity in the day. It's amazing how much more creative you've become. It unblocks the brain for more ideas, because when you clutter the physical world around you, you're actually also uncluttering your mental clutter. So just freeing up your brain space. You never know what ideas might come in. So, you've decluttered your office and you're sitting there going, oh my God, how about we take this new direction, or this new product, or this new office system for our filing or our accounts, whatever it is. You'd be amazed about how much this physical clutter really does sort of drag us down and sort of stops our brain from creating new ideas. Which goes on to the next slide, which is get creative. And I know that colouring books these days are sort of, the biggest thing where you can just sit there and mindlessly or mindfulnessly just colour. And it's just, again, giving your brain a break from the everyday. It reduces the stress, it reduces your anxiety and your worries, because your brain has to concentrate on doing something that's creative. It's just sort of getting the juices flowing. You can't be worried while you're sort of, your brain's taken up, doing something that you can actually see happen before your eyes. So you'd be surprised how fast the time flies and you get in the flow. There's the concept in positive psychology of flow. And flow is when you are doing something that might be challenging, but something that you might actually enjoy. So it's something that helps the brain twofold, because a challenge, your brain loves a challenge, you're learning something new, but also it's in that space where it can just be creative and just let everything go. And you never know, you might uncover some hidden talents that you never knew you had. Which takes me on to the next one of learning a new skill. Now, I know during COVID, the whole sourdough craze went off. Everyone was dealing something with the mother or something or other. I have no idea, because I never did it myself. I don't eat bread. But I know people had a real sort of epiphany when they realized at home, just cooking, being able to cook with the family, having the family in isolation with them, just meant that, something to share. So whether, again, it was helping with your diet, or it didn't matter what it was just about that sharing and learning a new skill with the family was a bonding experience. So it could be something like baking, it could be learning a new musical instrument, a language for when we're allowed back overseas again and we can actually, go to Paris and speak French. Again, the brain loves changes. It loves having a challenge. So you will find that your learning speed actually increases as well, because you're learning something new, and so vice versa, and then the learning speed increases. So this is actually good for when you're taking on new business concepts or new systems in your business. So if you can have another creative school outside where you're learning something new, you will find that also helps with your business brain as well. Learning new things also helps us to adapt better to change, because again, something new, the brain goes, oh, that's a bit of a change, let's take it up a notch. So it's also great for fighting depression and dementia, because obviously, you know, the new skills that we're learning and the new sort of ideas we're taking on, it keeps the brain active and stops those dementia sort of coming through, really. It helps to stave, that's what I was trying to say, it helps to stave off dementia as we go through life. Making plans. So I love this photo. Here's the fellow, he's traveling, he's got his map out, where to next, what adventures shall I go on next? And again, when we're able to travel again, that'll be fantastic, because planning a holiday has been found, just the anticipation of it. Your brain doesn't know whether you're planning the holiday, whether you're actually on holiday, when you've come back from the holiday and you're reminiscing. Your brain is going through the same changes as it would if you were actually there. So, you know, you're sitting down to, you know, TripAdvisor, and you're looking at people's recommendations, and you've got your Google Maps out, and you're sort of looking at flights. The brain loves that, because as far as it's concerned, you're putting it in the picture. So you are there. Your brain goes, oh, I'm there. I can just feel, you know, I can feel sitting in Rome and eating some pasta and a lovely glass of red wine or whatever it is. As long as you can sort of imagine it and you're planning it, your brain thinks you're there. And that really does help to clear your brain, again, of helping getting rid of the worry. It helps to organize your thoughts, because you're planning, you're putting things into place, into a bit of an organized plan. And even something as simple like, you know, when you go to work every morning, you've got your team there or just yourself, stop and make the first 10 minutes of every workday a planning period, because that's going to, again, help with organizing not just your thoughts, but also putting people at ease when we sort of know what's going to happen for the day, or we know what everyone else's plans are. It really just does help us to feel a bit more relaxed, and helps to, you know, anticipate what's going to happen for the day. So yeah, just every morning before you start work, just pop a plan into place about what you would like to achieve for the day, and maybe have a meeting with your employees as well, and get them to share what they would love to do. But at the end of the day, remember, we're not alone in this. There are so many people out there that can help us. So whether you are just, you know, like I said before, with your connection, if you're connecting with close friends or colleagues and talking to them, always talk to your doctor if you're having concerns about any sort of mental health issues. Have a chat to your own doctor first. Because they are aware of all the different services available in the Bay, or the different people that can help you. We have so many different, you know, just Googling, you can find so many different support groups. So we have the Coronavirus Mental Wellbeing Support Service, there's Beyond Blue, there's Lifeline, there's Kids Lifeline if your kids need a hand as well. There's the New South Wales Mental Health Line. So never think that you have to be on this by yourself. There are always people out there to help you. So just put up your hand, because again, you don't know who else is going through a tough time. So if you can be helping each other, they can help you. We're all in this together. So that's the sort of the last main tip that I wanted to say with the, you know, keep with you before I finish off here. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you all. This last thought, this is Mihail Csikszentmihalyi. So a bit of a tongue twister, but he is one of the world's leading researchers on positive psychology. And of all the virtues we can learn, no trait is more useful, more essential for survival, more likely to improve the quality of life than the ability to transform adversity into an enjoyable challenge. So if we can reframe our thinking from COVID being, you know, the end of small business as we know it, and reframe it into going, what adventures await us? What new opportunities are there out there for us? We'll be a lot better off. So Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be able to be part of this initiative today. And if you have any questions or would like to get in touch, there's my website there, or the details will be available in the Business Hub as well. So I'll just stop sharing my screen there so I can say hello. There I am. Hello, everybody. And thank you once again for allowing me to present today. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of the Small Business Big Impact presentation. Thanks very much. Bye.